All right, so I want to show you how the workflows work in GoHighLevel. And so if you look here on the menu, there's an automations tab. So if you click that, you'll come in and you'll see workflows. And so there's a whole bunch of functionality that makes this workflow functionality is really the engine of GoHighLevel. What makes it so powerful. So let's create one. So I want to click create. And there's a whole bunch of recipes that you can create here. And maybe we'll choose one. If I just scroll down, let's choose the appointment booking. You can see here that there's a whole series of steps. So let me explain to you how this works. A workflow is a series of actions that GoHighLevel will complete when something's triggered. Okay, and so if we look here and we click this button here, there's all these actions that we can complete. And there's so many of them. It's one of the most robust workflow engines there is in an app that of similar cost. And so let's just close that. But before those actions can be completed, there has to be a trigger. There has to be something that triggers off this workflow. And so if you click up here, these are all the triggers that can trigger off a workflow. So things like if someone adds a contact tag to a person in your CRM, then we can trigger a workflow. So we can say select a tag is added, and that tag is they're labeled as an attorney. Then we can trigger a workflow to send a series of emails to an attorney. And if we go back and let's create one from scratch. So click start from scratch. So let's do that. Let's say trigger a workflow when someone tags in the CRM a contact. So a tag is added and it's attorney. So let's save that trigger. We have to save. And now this starts. Now there could be another thing that triggers it. Just say they fill in a form for a lead magnet. So they go to a page and they want to download an attorney lead magnet, like how to grow your business as an attorney. So they click the button, a form comes up and they fill in that form. Well, let's click this and let's say, let's also trigger this if someone fills in a form. So a form is submitted, we add a filter, and we select the form is, and we can select any form we like, right? So let's just do the VMM worksheet. So now this workflow will be triggered, will start flowing when someone adds a tag, and that tag could be that they're an attorney or they submit the form for the VMM worksheet. It's a lead magnet that I have. So what are we going to do? Well, there's a whole bunch of things we can do. So one of the things we can do is we can add a tag. So we add a tag to that person that they have filled in the VMM worksheet. Okay. Now, if we've tagged them with the VMM worksheet, it's fine. It'll just skip this step. But if they come from a form, they don't have that tag yet. So we add the tag VMM worksheet. And why? Because we want to know that they actually downloaded that worksheet. So let's save it. Another thing we can do is we can add them to an opportunity. So let's create an opportunity and let's add them to the pipeline called Test Sales Webinar. Let's add them to the lead in, so they're a new lead. Let's give it a name. Now I love giving the name of an opportunity, the full name of the contact. So this is a custom, one of the tags we can put on, and this is a variable. It replaces this with the name of the actual person, and you can see there's a lot of different variables in the contact that we can put here. I just like to put the name, then I like to put what they downloaded. So they downloaded the worksheet VMM. The lead value, we might say, look, typically we sell this as a $2,000 client, and the status, they're open, they're not won, they're not lost, they're not abandoned, they're an open lead. And then we want to click this, allow opportunity to move to any previous stage in the pipeline. All right. So then we click save down here, and then we've added that. The other thing we might want to do is we might want to add an email. So we send an email to them. So send an email, and we say the email, before we do the email, let's do this. Let's up here the first thing we do is we assign a user. So we assign it to a salesperson and we assign it to Marlon, right? If we have multiple people, we can round robin it. Okay, that means if we have multiple salespeople, we can put them there and it'll give one to Marlon, one to John, one to Julie, and then back to Marlon. But I've only got one, so it gives all of them to me. So let's save that. Now, why did I do that? Because over here, when I send an email, when it comes to the from name, what I can say is we can click here and we can go the assigned user. So who's been assigned? So if I've been assigned here, this will be my details. I can say full name. So the email will come from me because I was assigned. All right, and what's my email address? Oh, that's unfortunate. Let me just do it here. The user email address. I'm just going to copy that and put it here. And then the subject, we can write something like download the video marketing machine worksheet. We can also use a template, which I wouldn't advise using for this. And then we can write an email to them. So we can say, hi. We can do custom value again, contact, first name. Hi, Marlon or John. Here is your download of the video marketing machine worksheet. Click to download now, and then Marlon. And then you can put another custom variable here, and we can go to account, and go to website, and we'll put the website URL that's in the business profile settings. All right. And then I can highlight this. I can put the link to the actual ebook. And that ebook can be uploaded to GoHighLevel, and you can put the link from GoHighLevel here, or it can be on your website. It can be on Google Drive, wherever you like. All right. So let's save that. So now we get an email. Then we can say, let's send an SMS. And we can do a very similar thing. We can do less things here. So we can say, hi, John. Here is the ebook you requested. And then we can just put a link to the ebook. Then again, we put the username, so full name, Marlon Marisha. And then we want to put, I like to put the account URL, because if they don't know who I am, which they won't, at least they can click here and find out who I am based on the website, right? And if we look, there's a whole bunch of things. These are premium actions for GoHighLevel, which we won't go into here. But there's a whole thing. You can schedule a call. You can drop a voicemail. This is really cool. You can click this and you can just upload a file. And what will happen is GoHighLevel will call that person and kind of go, it'll make the phone go straight to voicemail and just leave the voicemail. So you're not actually speaking to them. It's another contact point that you can make. I think it's very clever. You can send a message in Facebook Messenger and Instagram. You can schedule a manual SMS, so it can notify a salesperson to send an SMS. You can tell someone to call them, so you can go in here and you can say manual call. And so at this point, it'll just trigger and say, hey, you should call this person. It's good for salespeople. You can send a message through Google My Business. You can add a tag. We did that. You can remove a tag. So we added the tag here for VMM. We can go here and we can say, hey, once we've done all of this, let's then remove the tag VMM. Right? So we might say the tag might just be there telling us that we're doing something, and then when we've done it, we can remove it. Okay? I'll just cancel that. Let's see what else there is. We've done that, create an opportunity. You can add a note. So we can add a note here saying downloaded VMM worksheet. So you've got to be thinking here, how can you use these for your business and make it work for you? All right, this is good. You can assign a user. We've done that. You can remove assigned user. You can set a date for an event. So this is really good when setting a webinar date. You'd set the date, and then all the actions after that will be based on that date. You can add to a workflow. I do this all the time at the very end of my initial ebook delivery. I then add them to something I call the new lead sequence. It's a series of emails for 2 weeks that they get, and Well, they get it once and then they don't get it after that. If they download 10 ebooks, they only get it once, okay? Let's have a look. What else is there here? You can add to a workflow, remove from a workflow. You can remove an opportunity. You can send an internal notification saying, hey, someone's just downloaded the ebook. So this is a good one. So you can say, send an SMS and send it to the assigned user and say, hey, you just got a new ebook download. Call them now on, and then you can put the full name of the client so they know who they're talking to. And then you can put the phone number. So that's really powerful for salespeople to get this notification to make the call now. Let's just see what else there is. Yep. Oh, this is where you can enable do not disturb or disable it. So this is where people say, I don't want to get an email from you anymore. So it's like a unsubscribe. So you unsubscribe them. You can send a review request for Google reviews. You can do a one-time charge on their Stripe account if you have their details. Update an appointment status. If they booked an appointment, you can make it confirmed. You can add a task for someone to call that person back. There's a booking bot that you can create on some plans. Eliza bot, some analytics. You can update a contact field, so this is pretty cool. You can go in here and say, oh, what field? You want to update the city, make that Sydney. So there's many ways that you can use that. And then update a custom value. And then there's all these if else. So I love these. Like if you look here, you can go, we're going to send the email, but we might want to wait 5 minutes and then send the SMS, right? So we put a wait step there. So wait, time delay, 5 minutes, and then send the SMS. That's one thing you could do. Another thing is you can do if else. So if they're tagged with a certain tag, then do this. Or if they're not tagged with it, then do something else, okay? And there's a few other complicated things, but this is a really good overview for you to really understand the power of what GoHighLevel has when it comes to automations. A couple of other things when it comes to settings. This is a really important setting. You can say, allow re-entry. This basically means that someone at the moment can't go through this workflow more than once. So if it's an ebook, just say it's an ebook, they download it today, then 6 months later, they download it again. Well, GoHighLevel will not let them get this workflow because they've already been through it once. So it won't let them do it again. So if you turn this on, it means if they download it once and then 6 months later they come back and download the same ebook, then they'll be able to go through this workflow again and they'll get it emailed to them. And I think that's a good way of doing it. Allow re-entry. Stop on response is all about when someone responds to an email or an SMS, stop the workflow. Very rarely do I use that. Communication, you can say this is in the time zone, the contact time zone or the account time zone. We typically will leave this in the account time zone. Time window, this is what time windows do you want all the emails to be sent out, and I never send them out on Sundays and Saturdays. That's what that's basically saying. And then just a standard send a detail and send a name and send an email. It just means that you don't have to add it in here. So when we go to email, you don't have to add it there. We just have a standard setting there. And then conversations, you can mark them as read. Okay, and then here, this is the enrollment history. So it tells you all the history of who's enrolled and into this workflow. And this is all the action steps that have been executed. So it actually logs every one of these things here that have been done. It logs it for you so you can go back, and it's really for error handling if something goes wrong. And then when you're ready, you give it a name. So I'd call it the worksheet VMM, and then I'd turn it on. And it's very important you click this save button, okay? Very important. And I'm just going to change this name. Just going to change this name to demo. I'm actually going to turn it off and then click save. And that's the workflow builder. So very powerful. Get stuck into it and use it as often as you can.